Welcome to another journey in the Art Settlers of New York, where we feature everything related to art and culture in the dynamic city of New York. We are blessed and privileged to highlight visual and performing artists, writers, poets, art critics, promoters, and collectors on our program. Joining us is Ghislaine Sabiti, born in Congo on the continent of Africa, but raised in one of the suburbs of Paris, France, where her family continues to reside. Considered a French American, she has embraced the culture and history of the African American community, particularly in New York City. Her experiences include a multicultural exposure in education and the male white-dominated world of art in Paris, London, Montreal, and now in New York City. She identifies as a global citizen and is committed to social justice issues right now in the United States, and in particular, New York City, where she has chosen to settle in as a working visual, multifaceted artist, costume designer, and educator. We will cover the present exhibit in the Luisa Capetillo Gallery in Eminen's El Barrio Firehouse Community Media Center, located at 175 East 104th Street, between Lexington and 3rd Avenues in the heart of East Harlem, El Barrio, also known as Spanish Harlem. This exhibit is a cry to arms with the title, Harlem, Celebrate Calling, Bayard Rustin the Outsider. Her emphasis on civil rights and issues of gender and economic equality demonstrate her commitment to engage the communities she has now embraced and is now tirelessly defending and honoring in her work. Ghislaine believes that home is where her heart is, and her heart is in New York. She accepts the fact that she has been blessed as an artist because of the financial support of her family, who have provided an unwavering foundation to her dreams to change the world through her creativity. Ghislaine completed 2 residencies at the Caribbean Culture Center African Diaspora Institute in East Harlem on West 125th Street, and is especially grateful to the opportunities provided by Boys Harbor and her involvement with them as a teacher. But let's focus on what is exhibited at Eminem and the main feature of this segment of the Art Settlers of New York. Harlem, Celebrate Calling, Bayard Rustin the Outsider. This new body of work is from a fascinating exploration of Sabiti's symbiotic relationship with the uptown New York, Spanish Harlem, West Harlem community, and Bayard Rustin, which is engaged with political issues and social justice issues. Ghislaine Sabiti used the new musical and the book by Richard Allen entitled Bayard to create an intimate series of paintings in which Sabiti documented everyday uptown Harlem residents. She also painted with the same attention to expression, posture, and mood regarding the political and social justice issues that are faced every day through the shadow of Bayard Rustin, the pioneer of the civil rights movement. Ghislaine Sabiti worked with the uptown New York community for many years, painting the youth, neighbors, dancers, artists, and residents from Spanish Harlem and West Harlem with their unique force of creativity and boldness. Ghislaine started this series of paintings during her residency at the Marcel Burr House at Poncantico, and she added her new technique of embroidery with flame word glass beads from the urban glass with oil on canvas. Each of Sabiti's subjects gets the same humanizing treatment. She uses bold color and expressive brush strokes with embroideries and glass beads to demonstrate the force and vibrancy of the uptown community. Bayard Rustin is acknowledged by historians as one of the 2 or 3 most pivotal civil rights leaders of the 1960s. He is widely recognized as the architect of the 1963 March on Washington, However, for decades, this great leader, who was often at Dr. King's side, has been denied the rightful place in history because he was openly gay. Bayard Rustin's legacy remains in the shadows. Bayard will afford proper, long neglected, and deserved recognition of a single positive force in our struggle for social justice in America. Rustin, who until this time had always been, quote, the wizard behind the wall, working in the deepest shadows of the movement, is now about to be thrust into the spotlight, a perilous place for an openly gay Black man in the 60s. In 1963, at the creation of the March for Jobs and Freedom, the paintings tell the story of how this activist and civil rights leader worked with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and A. Philip Randolph, along with the rest of the Big Six, who we all know, producing a march that could unite the different civil rights movements and fend off segregationists. Unbelievable. Welcome, Ghislaine, to the Art Settlers of New York.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's our privilege and honor to have you here. You know, this is your first television interview?
Oh, it's my second.
Your second. Which was the first?
The first was in Paris when I was 20.
Okay, so that was some years ago.
Yeah.
Not that many years ago.
No.
Okay. Nous pouvons parler français, but it's best that we speak English.
Sure.
Because of my French,
yes.
Not yours.
And I want to thank also Zenaida.
Zenaida Mendez.
Yes.
The director.
For curating the show.
Yes, okay. Let's start off before we get into a discussion about the artwork that's on the walls of the Lucia Capetillo Gallery. I want to know a little bit about Ghislaine, the little girl that went to France. And you were how old?
When my parents moved from Congo to Paris, I was 5 years old.
5 years old. And why did your family leave the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the DRC as it's known? And why settle in France?
Like my parents always travel and they always look for a better future regarding the political freedom.
Okay.
That's why they moved from France to France for this political freedom and to be free to do what they want and freedom of speech.
And what was that? What did your parents, or particularly your father, what did he want to do that he couldn't do in the DRC?
Since he was young, he wanted to have the freedom of speech and he couldn't have it. So
he was an outspoken individual against the present government or the government then, or
just
what?
His idea and the way he was seeing life, it doesn't match with the idea of it was Zaire at the time. So he just want to be able to express himself and just do what he can do as his level.
I see. And how did what type of field were your parents involved in? I mean, how did they make a living in France?
My parents always work in the medical field since they was in Congo.
Okay.
That's why they've been traveling a lot.
All right.
So when they move in France, they've been working still in the medical field.
Okay. All right. So when you settle in France, tell me where you went to school. In France.
So I studied fine art.
Fine arts.
I went to I studied art. I was, I think, like 12 years old or 10.
Okay.
I joined the art school. And since then, I became an artist. I knew I want to be an artist.
And did your parents perhaps wanted you to follow in their footsteps and become a doctor? Or something else?
No, never.
Another profession? Never?
No,
okay.
The seed as a young age, they told me like
they saw
it since I was a kid. They saw on me like I like drawing.
Okay, you used to draw a lot?
Yeah, so it was easy for them to just enroll me at the art school.
So you had that support from them from early on.
Yeah.
So they never steered you and to say you're going to starve to death as an artist or anything like that.
No, that's why I study a lot to make sure like I can make a living on my home.
All right. Okay. Now, you also studied in England, or was it limited time in England? During the summer, you used to go to London?
Yeah, just for summer, in like 6 months to improve my English. I went to Brentfield College at Luton to study English.
Okay.
And I went back to Paris.
So you got your Bachelor of Fine Arts or something equivalent to that in Paris?
Yeah, I studied fine art, and then I went to the fashion school.
Okay.
Yeah. So
talk to us about that. So you're also a costume designer.
Yeah, I combined fashion, like costume, with my painting. So I study fine art and costume design and fashion design. So I have a fashion degree from Paris, Atelier Chardon-Savart. And I study also at Atelier Chaumière, fine art, drawing and painting.
Okay, and so you don't have a preference for either. You combine both. You have a love.
Yes.
Of both.
Always.
Always. And right now you have gone into glass. Talk to us about that. What's your involvement? Urban Glass. It's the name of the
yes,
the group.
Yes. Because when I was doing my painting, I feel like after many years I was missing something. I didn't have the same conversation with my canvas, so I need to add another technique. I like textile, embroidery, but I was missing something.
Well, that's part of the costume designer who are totally obsessed with material.
Yes.
Yes.
So I decided to do more like sculpture, form, and a bigger scale. So I decided to join and go to Urban Glass and study glass.
And you're very much involved with Urban Glass now.
A lot.
A lot. Tell us how much.
So I'm with the art community at Urban Glass, and also sometimes I teach over there, and I study at Urban Glass. So I'm very involved with them.
Tell us about the programs at Urban Glass. They're located in Brooklyn,
downtown Brooklyn, and Urban Glass have a lot of programs for like youth, women, the community, and NYU.
Students?
So yeah, students. So it's very much. There is a lot you can learn and add on your curriculum with Urban Glass. It's very community.
And how is like the tuition? I mean, you've been blessed that you didn't have to worry about any tuition when you were studying. But for individuals, say, who live in New York City, who would like to go to Urban Glass and take classes, or even artists, established artists, do you know? Do they have reasonable programs?
Yeah, Urban Glass give a lot of opportunity. You can apply for scholarship, and they help. Like they're like willing to help and just make it happen for anybody who want to join the community.
Okay, when you say community, it's like you become part of the Urban Glass community.
Yes.
Right. So if myself as an artist, which I'm not, but if I wanted like to mold glass or what is it when you blow glass, they teach you all of those techniques. Yeah,
they teach you. And also because glass sometimes with the fire, you can be a little bit it's a little bit scary, but
very scary.
Yeah. But the equipment are very on top. Everything is very modern.
Okay.
And yes, so you learn very quickly and you become a part of your routine every day.
So now you feel comfortable.
Sure, yes.
Working with glass, and so you have blown glass and
flame work the glass.
How long have you been doing that?
It's been 5 years now.
5 years, yes. Okay, all right. So we have the paintings, although we have some images that are being shown now of more recent work. But tell us how, in fact, you started with this particular exhibition. We know that it was Bayard that inspired you.
Yes.
But the movement overall, comparing it to, say, the movement in the Congo, it's different.
Sure, sure. Like the art scene, you mean, or
The art scene, but what inspired you to get involved with the civil rights movement here in the United States, and particularly in being inspired by Bayard and all the other the more modern heroes of the movement?
I feel like living also like the way I was raised. It was very. My parents were very like outspoken about change, and always want to make like a difference with the community. So I was very inspired from my parents, and also like I live in 3 different continents. So living in Congo,
North America, well, in the continent of Africa, in
yes,
Congo, in Europe,
and here now,
and here in North America.
So I'm always been involved with community. I try to make a change also through my art practice, and also because I teach a lot, so I want to give back to the community. That's why I was very involved with the East Harlem El Barrio community, and also working with the boys and girls.
At Boys Harbor.
Boys Harbor. Richard Allen is a producer. He did a play from Bayard Rustin, and I was with him working as for this painting, this series of painting. I did it for the play, and also I work with the student to build each character and have it on this series of paintings.
Okay. Now, what was that experience? What did you find with the children that you were working with at Boys Harbor, as opposed to the children, say, that in your community in France?
I feel like because I've been working in East Harlem and West Harlem for more than 10 years, so I know a lot about the community, and I have friends, and I know some students, and also like everyday people just looking at them on the street. It just inspires me, and I feel like I'm very connected with community, and I have a lot to say. And having them as my subject for my painting, it was more easy for me to translate the everyday life and the social justice movement through this series of painting.
There's one particular, well, let's talk about the paintings right now on the walls of Luisa Capetillo Gallery. One that's called Equal Rights. That's a portrait of Bayard?
The portrait of Bayard Rustin is the one with no. Equal Rights is about this young youth from East Harlem.
Okay.
And he wants to have the same opportunity like everybody in this country. So that's why he's claiming equal rights. I'm here, look at me, I need the same. I'm a bright young man, and I need to have this chance to just do what I want, what I can do in my level, and give me the chance to be successful.
And there you incorporated flamework beads that you actually blew.
Yes.
With embroidery. So this is like one of your multifaceted artwork.
Yes, and this is something new because my previous work, I didn't add any glass beads. This is something new. I just feel like with this subject, I have a lot to say, and also putting the feeling and of this community in through my painting. I would need more. I was looking for more like new textile or like technique to add on it, because for me it was like a very interesting and heavy conversation regarding this social justice movement, and I translate that through this new technique. And
how do you actually, I mean, this is more technical, how do you insert the glass into the canvas?
I hand stitch the glass
with
the thread and the needle, and some of them I added in my paint.
In the paint.
Yeah.
And then you're able to it could be easily added to the paint. Yeah. There is one particular very moving for jobs and freedom. That's a tribute to the women of East Harlem.
Yes,
And the eyes are piercing, but the nose is there, but the mouth is not. What are you trying to say with that painting?
this painting is very interesting because this painting I started during my residency. And she doesn't have any mouth, but her mouth is her eyes.
Her eyes. Okay.
So she's, even if you feel like she cannot talk, but she can talk and she see what's going on. Even if the society feel like she have no voice, but she can express herself. Some people become the shadow of the society, and they need to be seen as a human being, and having this representation of women, you just make them like, I want to empower women, especially the women in El Barrio.
Right.
The community I've been working for like more than 10 years.
Yes. Now, you were also involved, you did 2 residencies at a very important organization here, the Institute, the Caribbean Center.
Yes.
Of the African Diaspora Institute. How was the experience there?
I did 2 fellowships during the pandemic, and it was during the lockdown. So it was supposed to be in person, but because of the pandemic, you did it virtual. And I learned a lot because the center they are very strong regarding professional development, and also connected artists with community, and Art Institute with the African and Caribbean diaspora. So I learned a lot regarding any like tools, and having like art critics, art expert. It was very much, I was waiting for that, especially during the pandemic.
Okay, and so now, what's happening now? You're on another special project. You're thinking about you're involved in something else.
Yes.
What is, talk to us about that. About a particular law?
Yes, yeah. I have another project, but it's going to be a new residency and a solo exhibition, but I cannot say too much because
absolutely no. But the concept itself, we can speak about the concept.
Yes, sure.
Of what and why it's important to you, and we can talk about that. What is the name of the law that was established in Louisiana, in particularly New Orleans?
Yes, it was about the Tinyon law.
Okay.
The law was about having my subject is a lot about women. So this law was regarding the Black African enslaved they couldn't have their natural hair out. They have to cover the hair with any kind of like cloth or head wrap.
And why was that?
It was during the slavery time.
Right.
So
why do you think that they even established that law?
Because
who were these beautiful Black women threatening?
White
with
women.
Their hair. White women.
Yes.
Okay. And what did the white women think? I mean, so if you had a beautiful black flowing curls, what was the threat?
Feel like
you think?
Reading and going through all these like historic books, article, they feel in danger. They feel like Black women are going to steal the men, and just with slavery, master superiority.
Mm-hmm. Now that's totally different than the majestic symbolism of an African woman's hair on the continent. Why don't you speak about that? Her hair represents something very important, and here then for the enslaved Black women in the United States, they had to cover it up. That was a form of humiliation in a way, no?
Yeah, but the way they use that, after a while, they use it as a crown. In Africa, is a crown.
A crown.
Yeah,
Okay.
the hair wrap. So it's very like it's a part of your everyday life, and also it match with your outfit, and it represent also how if you are like you have money, you are rich, also who you are as a woman in society. If you are married, if you are single, you can tell the way you wrap the clothes. And the color and the design is represent many things in Africa.
Well, in different countries
Also.
of Africa.
Yes.
Specifically the DRC, I mean, it considered one of the richest country in the world of natural resources. Are those natural resources in the hands of Black natives of DRC, or they're in the hands of outside groups? These natural resources that are owed trillions of dollars.
Still not. The population cannot have it, cannot benefit for that, this natural resource.
Who are the owners of these mines or these natural resources? From what countries?
It's a lot to say. It's like, it's political. It's a lot of like,
are your
corporate.
Parents still not satisfied with what's going on at the DRC?
I think anybody who come from Congo are not satisfied.
So there's a small community here in New York City of residents from the DRC, or is it growing? Is it growing more?
I know, like in Harlem, they have like the Congo Weeks. Congo in Harlem is about art.
Yes, art.
Yeah, just.
Well, I want to thank you for being here today, and please, we look forward to your next exhibition. And thank you again for coming to Manhattan Neighborhood Network and allowing our community to see your work on the walls of Lisa Capetillo Gallery.
Thank you for having me.
Ghislaine. Thank you.